Greetins, Earthlins, Greetins, lambs. This is Truman the Vermilion. I've got vermilion clothes on today. Teaching you how to avoid dental pain. Now, this is not about, if you have an impacted tooth, this is not about that. This is about three kinds of dental pain that I've experienced. The first kind is around above the gums. It's not in the root. You can prevent that by putting a lot of vitamin B1 in your diet. B1 is a vitamin that's destroyed by heat, and we don't get a lot of it, so it has to be, if we get it from food, it has to be raw food. We don't get much of it. Most people don't get enough of it. Some people need less than other people do. I've known people that never had any tooth decay, and they seem to hardly ever get B1 in their diets. But you won't get decay, and you won't get dental pain if you have enough vitamin B1. Now, where do you get it from? Now, I knew one, you can either get it from raw greens, but you have to eat enormous amounts of them. I knew one guy, I was going to get a smaller bowl, but take a bowl about half this size, and he'd eat that much lettuce for dinner every night. But you want the dark green stuff, like the spring greens and stuff. I pick stuff wild when I go hiking, because I know a lot of wild edible plants, and you probably should too if you... Well, that depends on who you are, I guess. So, but the way I get my vitamin B1 is from nutritional yeast. This is a product, I get whatever brand happens to be available from several different stores because they run out of it quite often. People put it on their popcorn and stuff, but usually for me that's not enough. It tastes pretty good if you sprinkle it on foods, the kind of foods that you might have cheese on, such as hamburgers or stew, soup and stuff. But the amount that I take, it's a little bit unpleasant, but I'm so used to it that it's not unpleasant for me anymore. One time I filled my mouth with a mouthful of it, and the wind was coming from this way. I was standing out on the front porch of a big building. It was a dormitory, and the other guy downwind from me asked a question, and when I went to answer his question, these flakes are so light, if they're not moist, and if you talk, they just go spewing out of your mouth, and the wind carried it right into his face. So that's, in fact, I'll even give you a demonstration of what they're like. It's a little flake. What happened is brewer's yeast, here's kind of what, I'll sweep that up afterwards. Brewer's yeast, some people like the taste of brewer's yeast better. It has the same nutritional value for you. If you like brewer's yeast better, then go ahead and eat that instead of nutritional yeast. But myself and other people, we like, so because some people didn't like the taste of brewer's yeast, some entrepreneurs developed a strain of brewer's yeast that became nutritional yeast. And that's where you get, now if you want to get it in a tablet form, they take the nutritional yeast and compress it, and you can either get B100, B150, or even more than that. I'm not sure, B300. Anyway, B100 or B150, means 150 milligrams of every B vitamin is in that tablet. And 1, 2, or 3 of them. Now the more sugar, there's certain things that destroy it. Alcohol, sugar, maybe some certain drugs and so. Alcohol and sugar are the biggest things that destroy it. So the more sugar or alcohol that you get, the more of the vitamin B1 you need. So the more tablets you would have to take, or the more spoonfuls of that you'd have to either spoon into your mouth and soak with your saliva before swallowing, or else I put tons of it in my food. Now I really enjoy it now. I might not have it first. That quantity, I mean in small quantities you enjoy it. It's enjoyable. But something else about that. So there's another thing called trigger points. You get these pains in your back which are caused by a lack of B vitamin. I think it might be vitamin B1. These are known, chiropractors know about these trigger points. It's like a pain in your back muscles, not you necessarily, but in somebody's back muscles. And I get those, I just take more B vitamins. If I start gritting my jaw, I take more nutritional yeast. If it's hard for you to lift your feet up when you walk, that's a B6, I think, in your thigh. And then all of these are in nutritional yeast, all the B vitamins. Bad breath, caused by, I'm not sure if it's biotin or B6. And snoring. This cures all those things. This nutritional yeast or brewer's yeast or those tablets. Did I leave any of them out? Now the book I learned this from was Earl Mindell's Vitamin Bible. I'm not sure if it's still in print, but if you can get a copy of it. In fact, I found it free online, and No, I didn't. I got a book from the library, scanned the pages. There's some tables and there's some profile of each nutrient. So I scanned those and made doc files out of them. But you don't really need that unless you want to go into more depth, because everything I'm telling you here is what you need now. For the roots of your teeth, the roots are sympathetic with your gastrointestinal tract. So for example, if you have pain in your front teeth, that means there's inflammation or irritation in your stomach. And the farther back you go, it goes until your anus is the farthest back molar. So the molars generally are with the colon and the rectum. So instead of getting a root canal, and dentists don't know all this stuff, and I hope that they'll learn it so they'll stop. But you know, the corrupt dentists, they would rather extract your tooth or give you a root canal, and they would rather remain ignorant or pretend to about nutrition, which is much cheaper for you to apply. So you have to treat that particular organ. First thing, you should probably just not eat anything until your whole system is purged, except for maybe if there's soothing things like you might take like aloe, or if it's your stomach, you might need to have something that'll stimulate your digestive juices. You might have a weak digestion, and you might have rotten food, or you might have eaten. Also, in between meals and snacks, let your stomach rest, because the food, it's like a traffic jam. You get undigested food, and then you get new food coming in there that needs to be digested, and then it jams up, and some of it rots. It creates irritation, and when that happens, then the roots of your teeth start hurting. And when you treat that, the pain goes away from the root in your tooth. Now the third thing is tuna fish. I have a friend who eats, I used to eat 2 tuna fish sandwiches every week. And tuna fish is high in mercury, at least the part of the fish that is sold to us. The more harmless part costs like $1,000 a pound, and in the Japanese fish markets, these rich people go in and get the first cut of that and stuff. But for our purposes, the tuna fish that we get is rich in mercury. Well, you might be one of those people listening to this. I don't know, so you're welcome to if you are. But one of the symptoms of mercury poisoning is, they say, abscesses underneath the nostrils. Well, I got those, except for they were off to the side a little bit. And I had one for 6 years. I got so used to it, I thought it was going to go away, that I didn't notice it anymore. It wasn't extremely painful. But what happened was it was choking off. I thought it would go away on its own because I was eating a good diet and everything, but I was still eating 2 tuna fish sandwiches. So it choked off the capillary blood going to the root of my tooth hair. The tooth became brittle, and just little chunks of it would just break off until it was all gone down to the root. Now, I didn't know what was causing that, and I guess I was kind of careless during that period in my life. I just let it happen. No dentist is going to explain it to you because they don't know. So finally, one night, the abscess got worse than it had been in all of the 6 years. I was at a friend's house. She had a kit of homeopathic remedies, and by using intuitive methods such as kinesiology, I narrowed it down to homeopathic mercury. I took the homeopathic mercury, and inside of 10 minutes, my 6 years old abscess was gone, and the pain was gone. Of course, my tooth was gone because I'd waited too long to diagnose what was causing the abscess. And then somehow 2 years later, I started eating more tuna fish again, and I got abscess on the other side, and in 2 years, this tooth broke off. I don't know. So I can eat 1 sandwich a week now without an abscess forming, but because I know myself. But she can eat more than that without getting an abscess. So everybody's body chemistry is different. And that's all I have to say about it. Now, the details of treating your GI tract when it's irritated and inflamed, I don't have a tremendous knowledge about that. I usually space out my snacking and eating enough to give it rest. But there are, foods, seasonings that, like oregano, I think is one that's really gentle on your stomach, and aloe in particular are very soothing. And if you have a weak digestion, you need to eat things that stimulate your digestive juices all the time. You need to have that every day. There's other treatments such as acupressure, acupuncture, that can improve your overall condition of your GI tract and the efficiency of the functioning of it. But I don't really mean to expound on that today, because I'm more of an expert on preventing, how to prevent the pain because of my own experiences than I am in actual GI tract treatments for GI tract. So here's how you can find out more about me, if you want to. At this website is how I went from being tortured by the MK Ultra and being abused to becoming the creator of the replacement culture for the end of the age and the end of Western civilization. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.